year's meeting of central bankers in Jackson Hole comes amid mounting worries over a U.S. recession and continued pressures from the White House. For the second time since December, President Trump called Fed Chair Jay Powell a golfer who can't putt. Just this morning said that Powell doesn't have any touch. Yahoo Finance Fed correspondent Brian Cheung, however, can putt, and he is standing by live from the Tetons. So, Brian, as we kind of set the stage for Powell's speech on Monday, what do you think the biggest theme is that he needs to or is going to hit on in that speech Friday morning?
Yeah, and by the way, apologies, there's some hawks that are, or they might be vultures or something spinning around me, just making these noises, maybe a signal, if you will. But the question is really going to be how well Powell and the current Fed face the number of challenges that seemingly have appeared in the past few months that have been new to the current Fed. So as you mentioned, President Trump, obviously one of them, he tweeted earlier today, as you mentioned, describing Jay Powell as a golfer. And what was interesting is that this has actually been ramped up rhetoric in the past few months. President Trump has clearly been unhappy with the Fed only cutting by 25 basis points in its July 31st meeting. President Trump saying during that time that he would have preferred a more aggressive policy stance. But then today he said, doing great with China and other trade deals. The only problem we have is Jay Powell and the Fed. He's like a golfer who can't putt, has no touch. Big U.S. growth if he does the right thing. Big cut, but don't count on him. So far, he has called it wrong and only let us down. But we have to remember that there are a number of other economic backdrops that do make the darker undertones of this specific Jackson Hole conference. The first being obviously the trade issues that Fed officials had pointed to in saying we needed that insurance rate cut in July. And then secondly, the yield curve actually inverting just for a hot second last Wednesday. That was August 14th, which has sparked some concerns that maybe we will get a recession, as the yield curve inversion has told us in the last 7 recessions. I do want to note that I think I was looking at the 10-year and the 2-year just now. It was getting pretty narrow yet again, getting within 1 basis point. And the Fed minutes that we got today actually noted that the Fed officials are reading the yield curve inversion as a sign that the markets may be hoping for a more aggressive rate cutting cycle from the Federal Reserve. So all important things to watch for as we do head into this Jackson Hole conference here, which will begin tomorrow and Friday through Saturday. We will get a full agenda of what will be discussed tomorrow, so we'll have a little bit of a better idea about what types of things markets should be dialed into. But that, in addition to Powell's speech at 8 a.m. Local time, 10 p.m., 8 a.m. in the mountain time, rather, and then 10 a.m. On the East Coast. So some interesting things to pay attention to there.
All right, Brian Cheung, be careful of the hawks. Don't forget the bear spray. We'll talk to you tomorrow. All right, be sure to tune in tomorrow and Friday here on Yahoo Finance for all the live action from Jackson Hole. We'll have all-day coverage in Yahoo Finance, including an interview with Cleveland Fed President Loretta Mester.